3-6, what gives you guys confidence and hope that you guys can make a little bit of a run?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're 3 games behind, in the division. Obviously, watching on Sunday, KC lost, to Tennessee, and kind of a bunch of teams winning and losing. So, it's kind of just like up in the air at this point. And we know we're a capable and good football team. We're, a couple missed field goals away from being 6-3 instead of 3-6. So, we're playing good ball. We just got to find ways to, make it a complete game and rally and just close out, these last 7 games of the season.
A couple of years ago, you guys played 3 in a row on the road. Now have 4 to 5 on the road. Can you kind of explain what makes it so difficult to be out there each week instead of breaking it up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows it's so tough to win on the road. In order to win, you got to pack your defense, and that has to be like the strong point, in those games, and making sure you're giving your offense a short field, stealing momentum away from the home crowd, things of that nature. So that's what makes it tough. You build, sometimes you come back and you build a little bit of momentum playing at home, then you go off to the road again and, breaking it up that way. So, the 4 or 5 game stretch where you're on the road, it's going to help build our football team, with the wherewithal of going on the road and everything that, ensues with that. So we got to do a good job, speaking defensively on rallying and helping out the team get the wins.
Justin, what do you remember about Gary Kubiak and his 1 year with you, your rookie season? What do you remember most about that year?
Yeah, Coach Coobs was the man. I just remember coming in and, they're fresh off the Super Bowl and treating guys, with such great respect on both sides. The players for Coobs and Coobs for the players. I just remember it being a culture that, I was really happy to be a part of, even if it was for the 1 year there. And, obviously with the whole, end of the season with, his health and his well-being and the guys rallying around him, when we kind of knew we were out of it, finish up the season 9-7, but guys rallying around him and seeing how important it was to leave him with a couple wins, was huge. And so I have nothing but respect, for Coobs and everything that, that I was a part of just for the 1 year, he was here.
Were you surprised that he got back into coaching eventually?
No, I wasn't surprised. No, I think, I think it's a lot. You see, year in and year out how much it takes out of, guys, especially when you're a head coach, you're in charge of so much. So obviously the workload, got dumped off a little bit, not being a head coach. So stress levels are probably way more manageable doing what he's doing now. So, yeah, I mean, a guy like that that's been around for so long and successful at what he's been doing for so long doesn't surprise me that he's still going.
Justin, do you pay attention to Pro Football Focus and the fact that they've got you ranked as the best safety in football this year based on how you played?
Honestly, I don't pay too much attention to it. I know a lot of people, are really into, the stats and all that stuff. Not saying it's a good or bad thing, but, you can only control. I mean, like when you're talking about football and everyone can see like the big plays, the tackles, the missed tackles, the missed big plays and things like that. But when you're talking about the X's and O's and exactly the scheme of what's going on in your room, I mean, only so many people know that. So, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely a cool thing to be a part of, but I don't pay too much attention to it.
How would you evaluate yourself through 9 games of the season?
I think I played, well, and I'm not pulling the humble card or anything like that. I've done a lot of things well. There's a lot of things that, I think that I miss and could definitely make plays on. Just, looking at the midseason film and moving forward, like what are the things I need to work on and, to help our football team be better. And then there are a couple of things here and there, a couple of communication things that, Kareem and I talk about all the time and fixing and getting right for the second half of the season. And so, overall, pretty good, but definitely a lot of room for improvement.
What are the nuances, Justin, of this defense that makes it fit well for you when you look at 9 games in?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, Vic's defense is so elaborate. There's so many different levels to it. So you put in one defense, but in that one defense is like so many different calls that you can use that are in your toolbox. And so, one of the things from a safety standpoint is, setting up the defense into the right calls to where you're going to be the most successful. And, Kareem and I have kind of like the freedom to do that. And throughout the week, we'll do different calls to see what we like better or ask guys, our corners, nickels, backers, what they like better. And I think that puts us all in great position because, it constantly forces us to communicate, constantly forces us to be, in each other's shoes and in each other's, minds and thinking and, playing everything the same and seeing everything the same. And that ultimately helps us, in the back end because we're the last line of defense, see everything happening and, confusing the quarterback and things like that.
Do you personally feel more of a comfort level in big system than you did in previous years?
Yeah, I think in this system it's it's all encompassing. Everyone works together. In previous systems, and not knocking any of those because they've obviously had their track record of working and having the statistics to prove that. But just in this defense, I think the numbers may not be there as they have been in the past, but the production is right up there with some of the best, and that's with a bunch of guys coming in that I'm sure not a lot of people knew their names or knew what they were capable of, and it's just exciting, guys rallying around each other, and trying to find ways to get it done on Sundays.
Justin, what impresses you the most about Dalvin Cook?
Man, his ability to break tackles. Everyone knows his speed. Is top class, and his vision is really good, obviously as well. But once he gets to the point where he's at contact and that impact point, he's able to break those tackles. And obviously, it's easier when you get to the secondary and things. But D linemen breaking arm tackles, linebackers, breaking. He's just breaking off the tackles from them when they're not, wrapping up and finishing. And so it's going to be another, tough test in order to, contain what he does because he does a lot of things really well for them. And we got to make sure that, we're rallying around and everybody getting to the football.
What are your expectations for Brandon Allen at week 2 of his starting reign here? What do you guys kind of locker room after that first victory game ball moment for him?
Yeah. I'm excited for him, man. I think, I said it before, we played the Browns game that, it's kind of almost like a win-win for him. Not a lot of people really expected much. And so, he just can go out there and play kind of carefree football and just, enjoy it, make plays, And so I'm excited for him to do that again. One game isn't enough film on someone to really get a good feel for how he plays the game, how he reads defenses. And so I'm really excited to see him go out there and just have fun and play because, we don't have a lot to lose, honestly. So going into the Vikings stadium, everyone counting us out anyway, it's going to be fun to watch him play.
Okay, thanks, Justin.
Appreciate it.
That'll be it for